Katsa. Katia. Alright, great. And behind us, how's everyone doing? You guys hear me okay? Alright, great. You guys all saw the safety video inside, right? Alright. In addition to that, during the flight there will be a few times you guys might hear me get a little quiet. If that happens, it just means I'm talking to someone else. I'll get back to you as soon as I can, especially around the airport. I'll be a little quiet. And that's about it. You guys ready to get in the air? Alright, we'll get going then. I'll be back with you on the radio in just a minute or two. Until then, enjoy the takeoff.
Hiva hiva ratama chua airei ahi na ke kupuna.
Alright, cool. How's everyone doing so far? You guys doing okay? Good. Well, we have nice weather at sea level today. Up at the tops of the mountains, it's getting all cloudy. We got this cold front moving in, so our weather's a little bit different than it usually is. Usually our trade winds will do a pretty good job of keeping the top of the mountain clear for us, but not much wind, a lot of humidity, a lot of low pressure, so the ocean's like, the sun's heating up the ocean water, it's evaporating, turning into clouds up at the higher elevations. But we'll have a nice flight around the coastline for you guys. This is all sugarcane that we're over now. 37,000 acres of it. This pretty dry area naturally. This would look like a desert really without the sugarcane. But they got that canal system runs out towards Hana and it diverts streams and rivers, fills up the reservoirs, so that's how they can water all this stuff. This water is coming from the road to Hana basically. It goes right along the road to Hana. In a few miles you'll see what the area looks like naturally, a big Kiave desert, real dry. You get less than 10 inches of rainfall annually out here. Since we get most of our rainfall in Hana, which is on the other side of this volcano, Kihei stays pretty dry. That's off our Makai side, the ocean side, over here off our right, Kihei and Wailea. In the past, like before the 1800s, hardly anybody would be out there. The Hawaiian people themselves, they usually live in places like Hana instead. Hana was like a city for the Hawaiians. But now we got water companies and canal systems and grocery stores so people can live out in the desert. But usually they'd be in the real wet climate zones. Much easier to survive with a lot of fresh water. Also off that Makai side, you can see Molokini Island and Kaho'olawe out there. Real shallow water between those islands and the island of Maui. Say it's a sunken island. They believe all that was land at one point, but Maui sunk down into the ocean, water filled up the lower lying areas, so that's why we got this group of islands so close together. That's all we ask, though, of course. The Hawaiians, they have a creation myth about this. They say that Maui went, the man named Maui went fishing with a magic fishing line, caught the island of Maui, and was pulling it up when the line broke and it left the island partially submerged. So they say it never came all the way out. But either way, up to you guys, really. And here's that Kiave Desert down below us, all Kiave trees, mostly Kiave trees. This is part of the Ulapalakua Ranch here in front of us. The Ulapalakua Ranch goes from Kihei all the way up to the southwest drift zone. You see a bunch of pasture land up there off our left side. That's the upcountry area, they call it, up there off our left. You got Kula and Pukalani and Makawao up there. They have elk now at the Ulapalakua Ranch at the higher elevation. Oh, herd of elk. You can go to the Ulapalakua Ranch store and get their elk meat. They have a winery too. So a lot of different elevations at this big cattle ranch, so different things will grow and survive. Yeah, you'll start to see some older lava flows in front of us too. We got a unique tree that grows on the lava rock out here. Look closely at the lava flows and you'll see the Willy Willy tree. Willy Willy tree has like an orange bark. Once there's enough topsoil, the tree will die and it won't be able to survive unless it's like right on that lava rock. It's real buoyant. Hawaiians would use it as like a flotation device. So they'd build their canoes and boats mostly out of koa, but they would use the Willy Willy tree as a kind of like a helper to keep it afloat, or their armor on a 6-man canoe. Also for fish traps and bobbers, they'd use the Willy Willy. So you only see it on the old lava flows. You'll see some rock walls down here. This is part of the Ulapalakua Ranch. That was a cattle ranch since the 1800s, so they used to stack rock to keep the cows in there. Stacked rock walls. We're coming up on the end of the southwest drift zone. You can see the McKenna Cinder Cone over there off of our right side. McKenna State Beach is over there to the left of the Cinder Cone. There's a chain of old eruption sites from that Cinder Cone all the way up to the summit of Haleakala. So volcanoes, you expect them to erupt from the summit, the top of the mountain, but in Hawaii they erupt all up and down the sides. You never know when you get an eruption. So the last eruption for Haleakala just passed the McKenna State Park. The lava rock that you'll see if you ever take the South Kihei Road where it dead ends, it's all lava rock from our last eruption, around 1790 they say. Which is before recorded history. For a volcano to be considered active, you have to have an eruption within recorded history, which is the year 1800 to present day. Just missed it, 1790-ish, they think that last eruption. But that's pretty close, so a lot of people say Haleakala is practically active, technically dormant though. Many do expect another eruption someday, so we're all looking forward to that. Yeah, right off of our left side is the Ulapalakua Ranch. Their grape fields are just behind us a little ways. So you can go to the general store there and have the elk meat, and across the street is the winery. I don't know if it's any good, but you can try it. I don't know anything about wine. It's okay. That's La Perouse Bay there off our Makai side, our ocean side. portions of the King's Trail you can still hike on out there. You guys know what the King's Trail is? It's a trail that went all the way around Maui a long time ago. They called it the King's Trail because when the king was on it, you had to like get off. It was punishable by death if he made like, eye contact with you while you were around, while he was on the trail. But it was meant for everyone. You just really needed to know when the king was hiking. But anyways, this trail got destroyed by the lava flows over here, but they rebuilt it in spots, and you stay on it long enough, you get to the original stones. A lot of the hotels and the populated areas they built right on top of the King's Trail. Now the Hawaiians, you know, are real superstitious. They believe in ghosts and spirits and all that. And they believe the spirits of the old kings, they still walk the trail at night. They call them the night walkers. They carry like a torch. And they're the old past spirits. And at night they walk the trail. And if you see the torch, you have to run away. Because if they make eye contact with you, they can't kill you or hurt you or anything. Because they're just spirits, but they can possess you, turn you crazy. Like the Exorcist, right? Same thing. The only problem is when they built the hotels, they built them like right on the King's Trail. So if you see King Kamehameha or King Kahekili walking through the hotel lobby, just don't make eye contact. Don't let them look at you. Well, technically they say you can also take off your clothes and lay beside the trail as they pass, but I wouldn't recommend doing that unless you're at Little Beach or something. This is Kahiki Nui, this area. You can see the windmills off of our right side. They put those in about a year ago. Those are almost twice as big as the ones we have over in West Maui. So a lot bigger, these ones in Kahiki Nui. It's the Ala Nui Haha Channel. They call it the channel of water out there. It's 30 miles to the Big Island, and it forms like a wind tunnel. Basically, that wind will squeeze between the two islands and accelerate, and makes for pretty rough waters typically out there. That's what led to Captain Cook's demise. You guys heard of Captain Cook, right? So he couldn't make it through the channel because the wind was so strong it broke his mast. He had to go back to the Big Island to get it fixed. And long story short, they were kind of tired of him, and Captain Cook was killed by the natives on the Big Island and partially eaten. Yeah, now the Hawaiians, they weren't typically cannibals per se. They didn't do that because they were hungry or anything, but they had this belief in this thing called mana. Your mana is your inner strength, like your inner power. And if you're a great man, like a real successful man, you had more mana than the average guy. So by consuming their flesh, you could steal their mana, steal their power. Something they'd usually only do for great warriors or powerful kings. So that's why they say it's really more of a compliment than anything else when they cook Captain Cook. So the kings, they didn't want their mana being stolen after they died. Like if they were getting up there in years, they'd have someone picked out to go hide their bones after they died up in the mountains. It was like their best friend or someone they really trusted, and then that lucky guy would have to take their own life after they died, so no one could hide the bones of the king, or no one could find the bones of the king. So if someone's been out here a long time, they know where all the bones are buried, they say. Now you see it is a little green over here, even though we're on the leeward side. That's because this halo of clouds forms around the volcano sometimes. Leaves some light rain, so you don't really have like rainforest or anything, but you can see it gets a little green. And then that'll all stop a few miles in front of us. You have like a gap between the two weather systems. The trade winds will blow the rain showers over towards the Hana side, and then it'll evaporate before you get to these clouds above us. So you have like our badlands out here. A lot of this is like Hawaiian homestead land too, a lot of it. So when they made that Hawaiian homestead land, that Hawaiian land, they'd usually pick areas like this where there's not a whole lot going on. And it's really not very usable land. They don't get too much water out here. So just a couple hundred people live in this whole portion of the island between Kaupo and Kahiki Nui. Kaupo is the next community, several miles away from us still. Now we're past the few houses that are out here. We'll come a little closer to the ground. You'll see big herds of mountain goats. There's one right down there below us off our left side. See all the black mountain goats running? Yeah, they're all over. They look like ants. There's some on our right side too. They're a big problem. Mouflon sheep, they're technically called. They were brought by Spanish trade ships a long time ago. But people don't really eat goats anymore, and there's no natural predators for them. They used to come out here by helicopter and just try to get rid of them, but then it just got ridiculous and pointless. And it wasn't doing much of a damage, so what they'll do further up the hill is they'll fence out these little sections where they know there's no mountain goats. Try to eradicate them all within these sections of fence, and then they'll widen the fence little bit by little bit. And that's what they're doing to try to get rid of the goats. Big problem when you have a steep hillside and mountain goats eating everything that sprouts up and holds down the soil, you get all this erosion. So we're already going to have some natural canyons out here because of a steep hillside, but the erosion is sped up and the mountains just literally getting washed out into the ocean out here in this area of the island. Cattle doesn't help either. You'll see some cattle out here too. And here's our Badlands. They don't get too much consistent rainfall in this area, so most of these stream and riverbeds down below us will be pretty dry for the most part. Thunderstorms, tropical storms, this cold front that we're going to get in the next day or so. They'll probably give us some rain out here, fill up some of these streams and rivers, but just for a short period of time. Now up there in the clouds, there's a gap in the crater called the Cowpo Gap. It was like a southern spillway in the crater. So in front of us, you'll see some lava rock with already some plants growing on it. This is foliage growing on this old lava flow. It's like over 1,000 years old, but it poured down the south spillway in the crater. Created a little bit of a peninsula out there off our right side, which is now like the town of Cowpo. See a rare koa forest on the other side of this lava flow. So if you've been in Hawaii a while, you know how valuable the koa is. There's not very much left of it. The mountain goats are wiping out this koa forest. There's no small koa trees, just some older ones, because they eat all the little ones that sprout up before they get a chance to get big. Well, we got the Mono Vainui Canyon, a 3,000 foot deep canyon here we'll check out before we head out towards Hana. And all koa trees inside it. 3,000-foot wall here at the back end of this valley. Some stair-stepping waterfalls coming down it, so we'll take a closer look at the little bit of water we do have in here. As we head out towards Hana, you'll see a big guava forest down here. All the shorter trees now are all guava. Started out by the coastline, they had a little bit of a guava problem down there, and it spread all the way up the mountain. Over 1,000 acres of guava. It chokes out the sunlight, so nothing else can grow. All the shorter trees, South American guava. They say eventually all our forests could be guava someday. Great news if you like guava, I guess. Some more koa up here too. You got koa and giant Hawaiian ferns too. You see those Hawaiian ferns that will grow 15 feet tall in between some of the koa. And keep your eye out in those canyons. You'll get a few little smaller waterfalls here and there, you'll see. We got some bigger ones a few miles away. That's Kipahulu down there by the coastline. That's where the 7 pools are and the bird sanctuary. Bird sanctuaries and helicopters are kind of a lousy combination, so we're going to stay a little higher over this valley. Once we get past the bird sanctuary, though, we'll come back down to the ground for you, give you a good look at that rainforest. Kipahulu, just like Hana, was also like another city. Captain Cook actually made a journal entry referring to it as the rooftops. There's all rooftops out there. Just a real small community now, Kipahulu. Alright, we got Waihiu Malu Falls is called up here off of our left side. We'll stop and spend some time here at this 300-foot waterfall before we head out to Hana.